Hi all, I hope you have been following the biggest merger details in the railroad industry, the Battle of Canada. The country's biggest railroads fighting over KCS to have a combined network from Canada to Mexico. Today, on August 31st, was the date that whole freight industry was looking forward. The entire eyes were on Surface Transportation Board and their decision. Before we go to that, let's refresh our memory. So far this is what happened. 21st March, Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern agreed to merge in a deal worth 29 billion US dollars. The merger was pending approval from the Surface Transportation Board. This was considered as a friendly merger. 20th April, Canadian Railway (CN) has offered to acquire Kansas City Southern in a cash and stock transaction worth 33.7 billion US dollars or $325 per share. May 6th, the US STB Surface Transportation Board approved the voting trust for Canadian Pacific's proposal acquisition of KCS, which means the deal would not be subjected to the tougher railroad merger rules that the regulators put in place in 2001. 13th May, KCS has notified CP that it intends to terminate KCS merger agreement with CP and enter into a definitive agreement with CN. 10th August, Canadian Pacific came back with a revised offer of US $31 billion, valuing KCS share at $300 per share. However, this was less than the CN's offer. This proposal came ahead of shareholders' meeting in which KCS shareholders would have to confirm their desire to merge with CP's rival CN. 13th August. KCS Board of Directors spurned Canadian Pacific's revised offer to acquire KCS. According to the company, CN's bid to acquire KCS is still the superior proposal. August 19th. KCS shareholders were supposed to hold a special meeting to vote on the CN merger agreement with KCS. The shareholders have decided to wait until September 3 to decide whether they will approve the merger agreement with CN or not. This is because STB delayed their decision to approve the voting trust put forward by CN. The STB decision will be out on August 31st. On August 31st, the Surface Transportation Board voted unanimously to reject the proposed voting trust that CN would use to acquire KCS. This has made the larger merger in history of railroad in limbo. The STB said the trust is not consistent with the public interest standard under the board's merger regulations. In its decision, STB said the voting trust didn't meet a more stringent federal standards governing major mergers between Class 1 railroads. These standards adopted for mergers occurring after 2001 require applicants to demonstrate that the use of the voting trust under a pending merger context must be consistent with the public interest. The board also said CN's proposed trust focused more on how the trust would benefit shareholders than the public. The board also raised concerns about competition beyond the 70 miles of tracks that overlap between Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and New Orleans also need to be further addressed. CN hasn't issued any response yet, but CP said today afternoon that the STB decision clearly shows that the CN-KCS merger proposal is illusory and not achievable. They also mentioned that CP have notified the KCS Board of Directors that the August 10th offer still stands to bring this once-in-a-lifetime partnership together. This is definitely not end of this railroad saga. STB has only rejected the voting trust put forward by CN to treat the CN-KCS merger the same way as CP-KCS merger. The CN-KCS merger can still happen, but it will be based on the tougher rules that were put forward in 2001 by STB. The ball is now in KCS shareholders' court. Should they approve the CP deal worth of $300 per share and go through the easier STB process, or should they go for the $325 per share CN deal and wait and see whether the deal withstands the tougher rules? Tough decision. Let's see how the corporates act.